Thanks for joining us. I'm Todd. I'm sitting with Mr. Preston McGee from the University of Alabama. But what we want to talk about is what they're doing here and a little bit about Preston himself. Preston, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, sir. Of course. Thanks for having me.
And tell us a little bit about yourself, first of all. You're a local person.
That's right. So I was born here in Selma. I was actually raised about 10 minutes north in Plantersville. Still in Dallas County and still call Selma home. It's our closest Walmart. I worked here at Golden Ranch for a couple years in high school, but went to Dallas County in 2019, or graduated from Dallas County in 2019. Went up to the University of Alabama that fall. Finished up my 2 undergrads in May of 2023, and then stayed for another year to finish my master's and graduated last May.
Wow, 2 undergrads. What are they?
Yes, sir. So my 2 undergrads, one I had a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science, and then a Bachelor's of Science in Business Management.
Wow. And your master's?
My master's was in Business Administration. So
and that was also at Alabama?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
So I was there for a total of 5 years, stayed busy.
I bet you did stay busy.
Yes,
Now, because I met you a while back, a few months ago, you had come, or you were in Selma,
right,
back home, with the business, the business college to help Selma to revitalize. Can you explain what it is that, first of all, who you're with and what y'all are doing?
Yes, sir. So if you look at the timeline, I didn't stay away from UA too long. So I graduated last May, and then 2 months later was when I officially started in this position as the Community Outreach Coordinator for the Selma Resilience Initiative.
Selma Resilience Initiative,
yeah.
Okay.
And so Selma Resilience Initiative, I call it SRI because that's a much easier way to say it. So it was birthed about 2 years ago, at least the thought was, when the dean of our business school, Dean Kay Palin, she sat down with our strategic planning team and said, look, we have this requirement to do some sort of societal impact in the state of Alabama. But what we're doing is we're going to different communities, doing a project, and then patting ourselves on the back and then leaving.
Yeah.
And so she said, that's not really creating any sustainable impact anywhere. Oh. And so she said, let's redo our approach to societal impact. Rather than doing all these different projects, what if we focus our efforts on one area for a longer amount of time and really fostered a sense of continual, sustainable societal impact? Mm-hmm. And so from that meeting that they had, they created a 5-year plan. And in that first year of the 5, they were supposed to identify 2 different areas where they wanted to focus on.
Right. The
business school already had a couple different efforts and whatnot in Selma, and so they started doing these different meetings, these visits to Selma, and after a little while, some of my professors were a part of that team, mm-hmm. and they invited me to be a part of that team as well because they knew I was from Selma, Dallas County, and they said, let's use you as a sounding board. Well, fast forward to February or March of last year, mm-hmm. the dean and the entire team were here in Selma, making their different visits, talking with different community and city leaders. And they basically went back to Tuscaloosa having been told, if you really want to make an impact here, if you're serious and want to show the community that you're serious, then put a full-time person here. Someone that wakes up here and says, this is my job. And so that was in February or March last year, about a year ago. Fast forward a couple months to April, the dean called me into her office and said, look, you know what we're doing in Selma. We're ready to make this commitment. We don't know what it looks like. We don't have the money for it, but we're going to do it.
Oh, wow.
And so she asked if I was interested.
Leap of faith.
Right, a leap of faith. And so she asked me if I was interested, and I said, yes, of course, that would be great. I always knew I wanted to come back to the state of Alabama after college. Didn't think I'd have the opportunity to come right back to Selma, Dallas County right after college. So I just have so much love for this state. So whenever the offer was there, I said, of course. And so again, at that time, she said she didn't have the funding or anything for it. Within 2 weeks, she had the job posted on UA Jobs, our job website. And I applied and interviewed. I had an internship this summer. Mm-hmm. So I applied and interviewed the day before I left for DC. And so a month into my internship, she called me saying, Preston, I've gotten the funding. I've done all the other interviews. The job is yours if you want it. Let's choose a start date.
Wow.
And so we chose July 15th, and that's when I started here as the Community Outreach Coordinator for SRI. And then just a couple of months later is when I met you at the grand opening of Selma Roots. Yeah.
Well, and so tell us what SRI, what are y'all doing? What is the university doing here in Selma?
Right, so SRI, the Selma Resilience Initiative, our mission is to help revitalize Selma through 2 broad channels of economic development and community advancement. It's those two broad channels. Although we're in the business school, we want to bring in different colleges, different universities in on this effort, because we can't have a thriving economy without a thriving community, and vice versa. Right. And so, although we can bring in all those different resources for businesses here, different events and whatnot, we want to bring in that community advancement aspect. And different colleges on campus, such as College of Human Environmental Sciences, College of Education, different departments with the Center for Service and Leadership, different divisions, which are vice presidential divisions. We have a division of community affairs. They've done the work in Selma. And so it's how can we coordinate all of those different efforts into one cohesive force in Selma, while inviting different universities such as Auburn, UAB, and different universities like Alabama State University to really join in on this effort and really bring a positive force into Selma.
So U of A is leading it, but there's other colleges that are helping out.
Right. So the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, the UA system is composed of 3 campuses. You have the University of Alabama in Birmingham, which is UAB, the University of Alabama in Huntsville, which is UAH, and then the University of Alabama, which is in Tuscaloosa. Right. All 3 of those campuses make up the University of Alabama system. And so all 3 of those campuses, I would love to be here. UAB is already here. UA, of course, is what we're doing here. So bringing those together while inviting Auburn University to join us. They're already doing things here in Selma. Alabama State University has different efforts here. So there's lots of academic, there's lots of higher education work going on in Selma. And just because it's higher ed doesn't mean that it's all about educating people. It's about bringing in the different expertise that those universities have, such as Auburn's architectural programs, hospitality industries, things like that. And how can we bring all of that to Selma?
Yeah, and all of that, you're taking the bits of information from the different specialties,
right.
And what are you actually doing with it here in Selma?
Right, so some specific things that we're doing. Last year, we really started kicking off with our student presence in Selma. As part of us being here, of course, I'm here every day, but we want there to be a consistent presence of the university here. And part of that is going to be our students. Students are our largest asset at the university. The number of students we have, their brilliant minds, their creative abilities, how can we get them engaged in Selma? And so we have a few different projects that that different students are working on individually, but at least twice a semester we'd like to bring student-focused trips to Selma. And so we started that back in November of last year. On November 8th, we brought about 40 students down for a service day. We brought them down, and they did the community gardening blocks right in front of 5 and Dime across from the public library. And then there's a couple across the street from there. But that was just taking some blocks that were already there. There was just a bunch of weeds and whatnot. We pulled all the weeds up, put in these wooden squares to put in the vegetables and whatnot, just to add a little beauty to the sidewalks until we can figure out what we're doing there long term as a city. But that was just a way for us not only to get students to come down here and work, but for them to get them to come down and see Selma, to give back to the community while also giving them time to explore. They got the chance to go to the coffee shop, to walk downtown, to really see and feel Selma, because we want students to come here and leave with a desire to come back, a desire to want to know more. Just as we want any tourist of Selma to come to, but we want our students across the campus for any part of Alabama, while we have them on campus for 4 years, we want to foster a sense of love, a sense of belonging for the state, and specifically with Selma and the Black Belt while we're here.
Well, that makes perfect sense, because if somebody has not just a financial or a family tie, but an emotional tie of some sort like that, would be a family tie, would help people want to stay and better that area. So what are some specific things, you're talking about business, it's the business school and architects from Auburn, what are some specific things that y'all are planning or are doing to actually further the economics, the economy of Selma and further the business community?
Yes, sir. So I mentioned the student trips. We're going to keep those going this semester. Our next trip will be February 14th of students coming down. But in March...
On Valentine's Day.
Yeah, on Valentine's Day. And so I got that reaction when I said that to other people. And so they said, a service trip on Valentine's Day? And I said, tell me a better day to go down and love on Selma.
There you go. That works.
So that's exactly what we're going to be doing a couple weeks from now. We're going to be partnering with Foot Soldiers Park, helping them with a community center down there that they're working on transforming. And then, again, giving the students time to walk around and explore downtown and see it for themselves. Go look at the bridge, go down to the Old Depot Museum, because there's so much more to Selma than what people think of. just when they see us on the headlines or see us in the history books. There's so much more here to see, and we really want the students to see that. So again, to foster that desire to come back. And so that's going to happen on February 14th. We have a big event coming up on March 27th. That's going to be the Selma River Pitch Competition.
Ooh.
Yes, we do a river pitch in Tuscaloosa every year, and we are wanting to replicate that here in here in Selma for Selma, Dallas County residents. And so the river pitch competition is an opportunity for Selma, Dallas County residents to come and pitch a business idea. And so if you don't know what a business pitch is, it's basically, in our terms, it's a 3-minute pitch to pitch, or a 3-minute talk to pitch one idea. So you have 3 minutes to pitch your one idea for your business, and you get the chance to win $1,000. And so we're hoping to have at least 12 to 15 people compete. But the more people we can compete, the more we can show, hey, this is something that's wanted in Selma, and the more money we can get involved in the program. And so at least we're hoping to have at least 4 winners right now. But I like to emphasize with this event, there's really no losers, because if you come and participate, you get experience pitching your business, you grow your confidence, and you get feedback from judges in the business world, as well as access to different faculty members and experts in those areas to help answer those questions about how do I get my business off the ground? How do I do this? So we're not going to end after the competition. That network is there for participants.
Now, I guess they can also help you hone your idea so that it'll be more doable.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So make it feasible and say, okay, well, maybe we can't do this right now, but if you start here, this is how you can grow to that.
Right.
And so that's the type of expertise that we want to bring to the residents of Selma, Dallas County that are wanting to do those different business ideas and whatnot. So anyone in Selma, Dallas County is eligible to participate in the Selma River Pitch. And this is the 2025 Selma River Pitch. I'm calling it the inaugural one, because if we get the support, if people enjoy this, we can bring it back every year.
That would be cool.
Yes, and it could grow into, in Selma we do different business plan competitions that lead to even more prize money, because business plan takes a little more effort to really plan out a business. And so with that, if you have the business plan, we can award more money for that. But the $1,000 that you can win with the river pitch competition is really just to get the idea off the ground. Hey, this is what I need to do to start developing this.
And that sounds like what you're doing then is trying to educate folks that are not only business owners, but potential business owners on ways they can grow their business, start and or grow their business to help the overall economy of the area grow even more.
Definitely. And there's other people that we are able to bring in, different partners of the university that have different resources for small businesses, or whether that's our own faculty and staff. Ms. Julie Lyons mentioned the idea to me about doing a...
Love Julie.
Yes, she's great. She mentioned the idea to me about doing a social media class for small businesses in Selma, Dallas County, to help them develop their online presence. And so I told her, I said, that's something we could definitely do. Bring in one of our, maybe it's a faculty member that teaches social media, or someone that does social media for the university, having them come down and facilitate a class for small business owners and community leaders here in Selma, Dallas County that really want to improve the end of their operations.
And that is so important today, having a good social media presence and learning how to use it. And you know, another thing I'm discovering with the Black Belt News Network and even Selma Sun is that the time it takes to actually do the social media work, it's a big chunk of time to do it right. So that would be a very valuable.
Definitely, especially for a small business.
Yeah.
Because if you look at these big corporations and big businesses, they have someone, they probably called a director of social media or social media specialist that's able to dedicate all their time to creating a post every day or every week and scheduling
or multiple posts.
Right. And so how do we bring that expertise to and make it relatable and functional for businesses in Selma?
What about advertising and things like that? Do y'all work in that area at all?
Anything marketing, especially in the business school, business marketing, sales, all of that expertise are things that we'd like to get connected to, whether it's current business owners or students that are interested in doing that. Maybe they want to go to school and learn about the business field, but maybe there's not a lot of those opportunities while they're in high school to really say, oh, maybe I want to go to college and study this.
Sure.
So exposing them to that.
Well, now, if somebody in town or in Dallas County wants to get in touch with you to be a part of this or to get assistance, what do they need to do?
Yeah, so for the Selma River Pitch specifically, all they have to do is reach out to me at preston.mcgee@ua.edu. That's preston.mcgee@ua.edu. My phone number is also 334-518-0559.
Okay.
And if that's too much to remember or to jot down, all they have to do is go to selma.ua.edu, and all my information is on that website.
Selma.ua.edu.
That's right. So that's the UA website. We have a webpage dedicated just for Selma. So if you go to selma.ua.edu, not only will we be posting information about the river pitch or the business pitch competition, but there'll be information about different student trips coming and different opportunities that we're trying to bring to Selma, as well as an opportunity to sign up for our email newsletter that'll go out about quarterly to just let you know, hey, this is what we've been up to. I'm all about accountability, and so we want to make sure that people are aware of what we're doing, so they can get on board and they just know what we're trying to do. So.
That's fantastic. Gosh, is there anything that I have not covered that you might want to talk about?
No, I think I just really want to get across to people in Selma, Dallas County specifically, that when we started this initiative, we knew that there had been so many other institutions and larger organizations to come into Selma saying they were going to save the day. And that's not our mindset behind this. The dean sees this as not a 1-year project, 2-year project, but she sees this for the long haul. We're here to create something that can outlast us, something that can grow into something that we are not even thinking of. And so we're not here to do anything to Selma or for Selma, as everything's focused on doing it with Selma. Because whether it's Selma or any other city, you can't move forward without getting people together and working with each other. And so that's really the core of what we're doing.
Makes perfect sense. Networking, get together.
Right.
But why Selma?
Why Selma? For me, it was an easy choice. I mentioned earlier how I love the state of Alabama so much. I think as a state we're overlooked so much,
Yes,
but we have so many amazing people, amazing places, beautiful places to see, and just a great love for the people around us. The Southern hospitality, or just being in a southern state where we have all this land around us, but we have these hidden gems, whether it's the Edmund Pettus Bridge, where there's so much history, and not only here in Selma, but how that connects to the rest of the state. Selma not only changed the state of Alabama, it changed the world.
Yeah.
And so for me, again, it was easy to come back to the state of Alabama. I knew that going into college, I knew I wanted to come back to the state eventually. And specifically, if I had the opportunity to do that, to come back to Selma, Dallas County, I would have jumped on it. I just didn't know that would be right after college, but here I am. So for me, that was why I chose Selma. For the university, we already had a couple different things going on in Selma. Mentioned Selma Roots at the beginning. Selma Roots, the family store. Some of our accounting students and our accounting professor, Miss Lisa McKinney, was helping Miss Betty Oldroyd and Pastor Grayson with different student help in designing that store, and they finally got that open. And so different things. It's a great store, and it benefits the community.
Exactly.
So I think she calls it a purchase with a purpose mindset. And so, so she has a great ministry going on over there. But our students loved helping Miss Betty with that store. We've had students in the past helping different people with different accounting, taxes, and stuff like that in Selma. And so it really just made sense for us to really focus in on Selma, not only because we had stuff here, but also because of the position that Selma was in to make an impact across the Black Belt region, across the state, really. I mentioned earlier, Selma has changed the world before, and it can do it again, but Selma is in a right place to do that in the state of Alabama right now, especially across the Black Belt. So.
Right, especially as centrally located, and as you've said before, if what happens in Selma will grow and affect the rest of the Black Belt region.
That's right.
So.
And Selma's only an hour, 15 hour, 20 minutes away from Tuscaloosa.
Right.
So I know growing up, I never really went to Tuscaloosa or went to campus at least. But as the mission of the university is tied into our strategic mission to serve the areas of Alabama that are currently underserved. Because as a state, we want our state to thrive, but if all of our communities within the state aren't thriving, how can we truly move forward as a state? So communities throughout the Black Belt and other parts of Alabama, those are the communities that we want to help move forward.
That's fantastic. And boy, I tell you, talk about not going to Tuscaloosa. I went back a couple of years ago after not being there for a while, it has changed.
It has.
I got lost on
me
campus.
going there on freshman year to my grad year, so
Yeah.
much has changed. So I can only imagine a bigger gap in time. So,
Oh yeah, you had to bring up the bigger game, but you're right. But it's been fantastic talking to you,
Yes, sir.
Preston. I thank you so much
Of
for,
course.
first of all, spending time with me. Second of all, for what you're doing down here. And I'm gonna sign up for your newsletter.
Please do,
I
yeah.
want to keep up, and then this isn't going to be our last conversation. We'd
Sure,
like,
well,
to,
yeah.
like to do more to help spread the word. So, one more time, real quick, give us the website
Selma.ua.edu.
and the email.
Preston.mcgee@ua.edu. That's preston.mcgee@ua.edu.
And the phone number.
334-518-0559.
Thank you again so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And thank you for watching.